Okay, here's a little bit more about the Aufbau order that leads to the electron configuration that we've done many times at this point, 1s2, 2s2, etc. And we'll show you a little shorthand notation that makes it a little less repetitive. This is screencast 5.11. Okay, here are the energy levels of the different orbitals where each little block represents an orbital and the orbital groups are paired up here. Notice that the d orbital consists of 10 electrons, 5 pairs. The f orbitals consists of, I believe it's 14 electrons, 7 pairs. But the energy levels don't just keep going up, do they? At some point they drop a little bit. So if you point out right there, notice that the 3d orbital is of higher energy than the 4s. That's perhaps one explanation, if you buy into that sort of a explanation, as to why the third shell starts filling up after you have some electrons in the fourth shell. Similarly, it shows right here that when you read across here, when you go from the 4s2 to the next electron, it goes into the third shell. Weird, right? And there you go. It's all part of that beautiful order that continues forever, known as the Aufbau order. Be careful when you go from 6s across, you have to go down to 4f. Similarly, 7s, you got to go down to 5f. So be careful on those. So here we have the overall Aufbau order that we've shown before. And this brings us through 6d10. Let's do a small one like magnesium. Easy, just stop at 12. I think that would stop at 3s2. 2, 4, 10, 12. Just look at the exponents. 2, 4, 10, 12. Good. Let's do this using something called shorthand notation, which we can. What you do is, if you get sick of writing all this stuff, after all, it's always the same, you go to the nearest noble gas, which in this case would be neon, and you just call it neon. This entire block right here, 10 electrons, call it neon with some square brackets. There it is. Neon 3s2 is the electron configuration of magnesium using shorthand notation. Very handy. Fluorine, well, the nearest noble gas is just one short of neon, so we're going to have to go with the plain old one, or you could go ahead and write helium, and it barely saves you anything, because that's the nearest noble gas, 1s2 right there, helium. Scandium, however, is beyond argon. Argon's 18, so we can just do argon and 3 more. Here it is all out, right? But if you can drop the first 18, it's easier. 2, 4, 10, 12, 18. Take that whole big thing and just write argon. Whoop, I guess it didn't show up. Just change that to argon, AR in brackets. You should write this down. 4s2, 3d1. That is the electron configuration of scandium using shorthand notation. Screencast 5.11.